The NFL draft is coming up, and we are going to break down the Bay Area teams. Let's go ahead and start with the San Francisco 49ers.
San Francisco 49ers had an outstanding offseason with the Randy Moss, Mario Manningham, and other pickups this year. I see them with the need of offensive linemen. They've lost Adam Snyder and Chilo Rashad to free agency. And with Alex Smith at back as quarterback, he does need the protection, anything he can get. And I look for the Niners to draft. I look at offensive guard during the NFL draft this year.
That's not a bad pick. I mean, you look at what the Niners have done in the offseason. They don't need anything. Their big need last season and going into the offseason, one is a wide receiver position, and now look who they've got. I mean, they've got Randy Moss coming off of a year off break. They've got Manningham coming in. They still got Crabtree. All the tools are there. They've re-signed their entire defensive team. There's nothing else. It's a safe pick going with the offensive line.
Yeah, and they could also use some backup running backs. The good part about the 49ers this year is, they just drafting for depth, not need. Running back with Frank Gore. Quarterback Alex Smith, he signed. You're not going to draft a quarterback. Offensive lineman, you can never have enough offensive linemen, especially offensive guard this year. So, like I said, losing Adam Snyder, losing Chilo Rashad. I see the Niners actually trying to move up in the draft this year. Not a lot of people are talking about this, but David DeCastro out of Stanford, offensive guard, they predict being picked somewhere between 11 and 20. And with the Niners picking at 30, if they want the top offensive guard on the board, they're going to have to trade up.
Yeah, again, talking to that depth, picking up Brandon Jacob just recently as well. So they've definitely got the depth now and good picks there. Let's head on over now to the other side of the bay, the Oakland Raiders, where new ownership, new everything behind the scenes. They've everywhere from ownership to coaching to the technology that they're using in the rooms now. I mean, the entire thing is going from the Stone Age to modern age.
Interesting part, Al Davis unfortunately passing away, but this is the first draft without an Al Davis voice in the draft board and the draft room. And unfortunately, with them, it was a good trade, I think, with Carson Palmer. At the time, they had a chance to make the playoffs, underachieved last year. Only problem is this year, they have no draft picks. Their first draft pick is the very last pick of the third round, and that could hurt them because they do have some holes.
That is going to be difficult, and you look primarily on the defensive side of the ball. They on the defensive line look good. They've managed to re-sign and have that foundation there. For me, the big hole and the gaping need right now is linebacker. Sammy Brown, I think, is going to be huge from Houston, maybe high on the board. I know that he's had a visit into the Raider facility. I'm not going to say the defensive backs as much because as you have a new scheme, Al Davis is gone. You're going to see a move away from man coverage. You're going to see more zone scheme out of this team, which will, in my opinion, help with the talent that Oakland already has there. That being said, not the best talent, but making do with what they have and going zone.
Interesting with Orlando McClain having the issue he had last year, too. That could be where the Raiders are going to go this year. I see him actually going in another direction. They got Carson Palmer, and they also got Terrell Pryor. But I think they might look at quarterback, actually. Believe it or not, third round. They might just look for the best player out there. You got Kirk Cousins from Michigan State, who's actually a really good quarterback, probably be available in the third round. So I'm actually looking for the Raiders to go quarterback third round with Kirk Cousins.
That's an interesting choice. If anything on the offensive side of the ball, outside of the draft, they need veteran leadership there. So I could see them going and trying to find some veterans out there. But at running back, losing Michael Bush, McFadden hasn't lasted an entire season yet. So that's going to be a big issue for Oakland, seeing how they started right out of the gates last season hot and practically ended the season with a completely different team. So they're going to need to have some backup there at the running back position.
Yeah, I see him going, like I said, best player available. You definitely could see running back. Like I said, interesting that without Al Davis or how McKenzie decides to go. He can go a lot of places with this draft. And like I said, it could go many places. Raiders have a lot of holes, but this is a division they still have a chance to win. It's an open. I mean, the Broncos got Manning, but he's one injury away, obviously, of the Broncos going out. And so we'll see what happens.
So draft day coming up. Let's see if both the Niners and Raiders follow our leads. But be sure to check out TPSNation.com and TPSRadio.net for more information as the NFL draft comes up.